Greetings YouTube and welcome back to another pedal modifications. I'm Colin and this is an Ibanez Flanger pedal. This is straight out of the 80s and it is pretty bashed up. This won't be so much of a modification as it will be a repair. We're missing input and output jacks and a power socket, and there's a few wires and whatnot disconnected from the inside, so we're going to get into this and see just how much we can fix it up. First things first, we need to open up this flanger pedal and see just how much damage there is. So there's just 4 screws on the back panel. It's pretty simple. So I bought this pedal off of eBay. It cost me around about 20 quid for the pedal and shipping. It seemed like quite a few people were actually interested in this broken pedal, so there's maybe a few more repairmen out there trying their thing. These pedals new can come in at about 100 odd quid, so I can see why they maybe want to get a cheap one. Circuit board there with one more screw, and I'll put these in a little tub to keep them safe because someone commented last time that I didn't bother to do it. So there they are, all nice and safe. Circuit board will just flip up like that, and we can start to see what some of the issues are. There are wires just not connected to where they're supposed to be. This is the switch here, it's not wired up. There is no input or output jacks, and that space at the back there, that's where a power socket is supposed to be. The pots are all a bit twisted round, and I did notice one other thing. This small variable resistor sort of sub-miniature potentiometer here is actually broken. See if I can show you that. There, the leg just sort of swivels away from it, so that'll need replaced. I've got all the parts, so it's just a case of putting this together and hoping that it works. First thing I'm going to do is try and remove this broken sub-miniature potentiometer and replace it with my new one. The value was 100k, so this one's a little bit bulkier than the old one, but it should still have the same pin footprint. I'll be able to get in there, and that should make a decent replacement for this broken one. So I'm just melting the solder with the soldering iron and then pulling the component through with my clippers, and that should hopefully do the job. There we go. That's the broken leg out. I just need to get the rest of that component out there now by doing the same thing. That's the old sub-miniature pot removed there, and on the circuit board I can see it's printed that that's the regeneration control trim pot, so that would have selected the range of regeneration. So this is my new one, a little bit bulkier, a little bit bigger, but it should just slot right in. There we go. So you can see the size difference there. Hopefully this will work just as well. I need to solder that in place. Let's get underneath there, hopefully. Where's my solder gone? Here it is. There we go. Simple as that, good stuff. That's the first bit done. I've got the new power connector with some wires attached to it because it wouldn't fit to the existing PCB. I've also had to modify the shape of it a little so it'll fit through this hole. I think I've identified which pins go to where, so I'll wire it up and we'll eventually see if I've got it right or not. Just a case of sticking it back through here, if I can get in. Fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. There we go, it's through. Sticks a little bit more proud than it would have done, but hey, can't have everything. Just bring these wires up and solder them to places that I believe to be correct. Well, with the power connector in place, it's now worthwhile putting in some new input and output jacks before getting all the wires back to where they should be. So I need a stereo jack for the input, because part of the stereo jack will turn on the battery, and just a mono jack will do for the output. 2 different styles here, but they both work the same. that's both jack plugs back in, so we can look at where all these wires are supposed to go. I've got my Ibanez tube screamer opened up because I would imagine that they have a similar colour coding for the wires to go to the same places, and what I'm seeing is that is the case. This yellow wire here in the flanger is disconnected, but in the tube screamer it is going to the input jack. Likewise, this disconnected red wire is actually for the battery power. The white wire is going to the output jack. There's a white and red wire just down here, which is pretty short, and that goes to the switch. I'll have to extend that one out. And there's lots of wires that sort of kick about and go to ground. So using this as a reference, I'll be able to wire this one up no problem. That's me with, I think, everything wired up correctly inside the flanger pedal. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I've got everything correct or if everything is in the right place, but there's only one way to really find out, and that's to plug it in and see if it works. So this may be a spectacular failure, or it may be a fantastic success. I'll just set my new trim pot but midway, just in case being off makes a difference. And it looks like a screw is going to complete some of the circuit here. So, give me a screw. It just seems to ground the chassis, so it shouldn't make a difference, but just in case it does. First things first, let's just check if it will power on. I'm going to try it with the 9V battery first, then we'll try it with the DC supply. So, clip the 9V in. And the only way it will switch on now is if I plug a jack socket into the input, and if we press the button, do we get a light? No we don't, we get bugger all. So there's likely still a problem somewhere. So after a little bit of trial and error, I've got the Ibanez Flanger back to an operational state. I'm not quite sure what it was that got it working. I just sort of redid some connections and rewired some stuff and eventually started working. The LED doesn't come on when the effect comes on, which is strange, but when you run it through an amp you can turn the effect on and off. So I'll have to look into why the LED isn't lighting, but that's a small detail for now. But it works from both battery and mains power, and I'll give you a little sound of what it sounds like. Got the Ibanez Flanger hooked up to the effects loop of the Marshall amp, and we'll just do some recording just to see what it sounds like. I've got it in the clean channel and I've plugged the shite pole into the amp. So this is the clean signal without the effect. And if we turn the flanger on, so it's definitely giving a very good flanger sound. Let's see if I can tweak some of these controls here, see what sounds we can get. So that's a pretty extreme one. If I turn down the regeneration, turn the speed up, let's have a look at what we do here. You can get quite subtle effects like that. It's almost sort of a tremolo effect there. Just punch these up a bit here, a bit more pronounced. speed back down again, see how slow it can go. It's about halfway, not full. Like some of the sounds are a bit extreme, but you can get some usable sounds out of it. With some nice subtle sounds, you can do quite a lot of things. I'm not sure if it's a sound to go along with distortion though. I don't think it's one of those sort of effects, but we can try it. Just back down my gain there and see. That's the dry distortion channel there. So if you're going for some of those sort of effects, it does certainly sound very good. I'm not sure how much I'd use it for distortion, but I certainly could use it for clean. I think it works really well on the clean channel. Especially at the slower speeds. That's just a little sound sample of the Ibanez Flanger, just to show it is working. Other than that, LED, which you'll have to see too. But that is another pedal repaired, so that can go on my pedal board and I can make use of that. So just let me know, message if there's any other pedals you'd like me to review or to try and repair or modify, and we'll see if I can get a hold of them. But that is the Ibanez Flanger, and I quite like that one. I'm glad I've got it working.